Welcome to UC's Craft Nations Online Training Center. My name is Uche Namade Pupai. So we will be working on bridal handfan, the one that is mostly used by Asoebi girls. Here with me I have the fabric boning and the stick inside. You can see that the stick is struck inside, and we have a candle gun, that's the machine, the wax itself, a hammer, a thick carton paper, a thick one. If you are using a thick one, you have to make use of hammer, a crepe paper that is stretchy, normally is stretchy, a half-inch trimming depending on the color, and the normal sequence trimming, feathers, chicken feathers, scissors, and measuring tape, and then a marker. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I did was to make a semicircle. I made a semicircle on the thick carton paper, just like I'm making a curve. I'm going to make it into two places, and then I will ascertain the middle. That's where my stick is going to fall on. Okay, so I've drawn my circle with the marker. I'm going to cut out, so I'll be cutting out the unwanted areas. Okay, you can see I've cut out. Okay, I'm going to replicate something, so I will have two faces because each will be interfacing the other, and the stick, which will be the handle, the stick inside the boning, will be at the center. So I'm trimming off the excesses. Okay, trimming off the excesses. You can see that the measurement is about 4 inches, while the middle is 5 inches. You can take your own to 6 inches. You can reduce your own to 3 inches, and that's the width. Then the length is 7.5 inches. You can increase your own to 8 inches. You can also decrease it, like reduce it to 6 inches. It all depends on what you want. I have the two pieces of the semicircle. I have them in place. I'm sorry I had to use knife because that is what my hand could reach on at the moment. I lost my blade. That's my sewing knife, my craft knife. Okay, so I'll be opening the center. Where I can fit in the stick, the stick in the boning, and then apply my candle gum, and then I place the second one. Remember, I opened both sides, so I'm beating now with hammer, the hammer to make it gum appropriately. Okay, so I have it firmly. In case there's anywhere, it's paper and the gum is liquid, it has to make some parts softer, so I had to gum it back. Okay, so I'm trying to wrap my handle. Yes, that's the first thing you need to wrap. Okay, so I wrap my handle. I cover the bottom with a piece of the crepe paper, so, and then I cover the blade, that's the semicircle part, with the crepe paper. I covered the both sides and then trimmed off the excesses, and then I ensured that the papers are not coming out excessively. So I had to look out for places that are not properly gummed. I gummed them. Then I came back to the handle to cover with my trimming. That's my sequence trimming, because the half-inch trimming will not be covering it very well. Okay, so I'm applying my gum evenly and then wrapping with my sequence trimming. Please concentrate on the very starting point so it doesn't shift, so you have a proper coverage. Okay, so I'm now using the tiny trimming to roll from the handle, where my hand will be, that's where I'll be holding, down to the semicircle part, that's where the fan is going to be. You can see I've taken it to the end, and then I run a closure on it. So it's time to place our faders. Now look at the faders. I am going to turn it for the first layer. I'm going to place it downward. I place it downward. I turn to the other side. I'm taking like 1.5 inches, 1.5 inch, sorry, 2 inches. So I'm placing down. Then the second line, I'm just making 2 lines. The second line, I'm going to turn it the other side so that it will flip up, just like it's flipping up. It's not going to lap, just like unlike the first one I did. Okay, so you see, whatever I do the other side is what I'm going to replicate on the other side. Okay, so you can see I'm trying to make sure every area is covered very well. You can see, okay, you can see I've covered all the place, and then I'm cutting just like, because I want the trimming to lap very well on the fader. So I'm cutting the satin that was lined in the faders, so that when I'm placing my trimming, it's going to lap, it's not going to be puffing it up. So I apply my gum again. This is the closure part of it. I applied my gum again and then started placing my sequence trimming. I will take from one face to the other face. I'll cross, then adjust where I need to adjust. So I'm making about 3 lines of it, and then please, as you're placing, be shifting back so that it doesn't get pulled up because of pressure. So just be shifting back as you're placing your sequence trimming. You can see I'm covering for the last one, then I do my final closing.